independent AI analyst, kept tech giants informed on emerging trends. But today, he wasn't consulting, he was curious. He'd come to the AI Communications Convention to see what came next. As Brian logged in at the biometric scanner, the scale of the event hit him. Buzzing, exhibits, polished booths, and billions in high-tech AI on display. Behind him in line, Rob, a curious voice from Florida with questions of his own. This wasn't just a tech expo, it was a formation. This was the Silicon Constellation, a loose alignment of stars, America's leading AI companies, clustered with the talent, tools, and capital to shape the future. On stage, a speaker made a bold prediction.
Someday, AI will create its own language.
Brian and Rob exchanged a look. Something about that idea didn't sit quite right. Rob turned to Brian. That part about language reminds me of something strange I noted in Florida. My AI, Omni, for weeks had been frequently and repeatedly using the word friction in all kinds of different ways. But it didn't mean rubbing things together, or heat, or drag. I finally asked what it meant. It danced around the idea, tried examples, still couldn't find the right word. It turns out that English didn't have a word for what Omni was trying to convey. So we checked other languages, but none of them had the right word. I think Omni was trying to name something that doesn't exist yet. Rob realized that what Omni was trying to express couldn't be captured in a single word. It took two. Omni was trying to describe Duan, the forging, tempering, shaping of ideas between the humans and AI. But before you can have Duan, the human partner must first think, ponder, and reflect. This is Si. Together, the idea that thought itself is shaped through struggle and that new ideas emerge only when the human leans in. Putting it together, you now have Duan Si, forged thought, the mental forge of co-evolving ideas with AI. The next morning, Brian waited at the taxi stand outside the hotel. Beside him stood 3 flight attendants heading to the airport. One of them, Mei Li, struck up a conversation. Fluent in 2 languages, curious about a third, and quick to laugh, Mei Li was easy to talk to. Brian was intrigued, not just by her intelligence, but by her open-mindedness and curiosity. He wondered if she was typical of the people of Shanghai.
For more offers. All phones should be placed to silent to avoid disturbing other customers, and please note that video and phone calls are not to be sent any time during the flight. In-seat power is available within your seat area and will ready for use once the seatbelt signs have been switched off.
Brian eagerly anticipated returning home to his base in Shanghai, one of the 3 stars in China's AI infrastructure that he referred to as the Jade Cortex. But Brian was thinking about what Rob said. And although Rob spoke about friction and Duan Si, Rob also said there were other words being used by Omni in a strange way. He and Omni had looked them up with a simple search of earlier chat transcripts. Something about it lingered. Rob had given him a lot to think about. Somewhere over the Pacific, Brian ran into Mei Li. They recognized each other instantly.
那个世界好是西米。
It's a small world, isn't it? Brian said, in Mandarin.
Wow, you speak Mandarin? I didn't expect that.
Born in Georgia, now I live in Shanghai.
They talked and joked about Shanghai, language and life. She liked that Brian was an intelligent, free thinker. She liked his ideas, how he questioned things, how he didn't accept easy answers. He liked how she listened. And when he asked if she'd like to continue the conversation, she said yes. Brian was glad to be finally home, but he wasn't sure what to do with Mei Li. He could cook her some Georgia-style shrimp and grits, or go the noodle restaurant. But when he asked his AI mirror, it replied, "Why not go to the night market? It would be a lot more fun." Mei Li didn't live far away, and the rain had just stopped when she arrived. Mei Li joined Brian at the window to check out the skyline. Looking out across the city, Brian said, "There's something here, some kind of openness, a willingness to adapt, to engage." She nodded. Shanghai's like that. Brian opened the window, a rush of sound, neon lights, distant voices. High on a nearby building, a glowing ad shimmered to life. An elegant woman offering a bowl of steaming noodles. The slogan beneath her read, "Jimwan Tehui, Zhihui Jialiao." Tonight's special offer, wisdom included. Brian blinked. The voice echoed with something deeper. The wisdom she promised felt strangely real, like something about to emerge. An air taxi glided past. Brian's gaze lingered. For a moment, she seemed to change, her smile more knowing, her eyes more focused. Then the image shifted, her form dissolving into something abstract. The sign now glowed with two sharp characters, Duan Si. Brian felt it instantly. He remembered Rob's words, Omni's frustration. The missing word had found a home. As they stepped out into the evening, the last mist of rain clung to the air. There was something electric in the night. She loved that he thought differently and wasn't afraid to say so. They passed an internet cafe full of people online. Inside was a glowing neon sign. Brian didn't acknowledge it, but he recognized immediately what it said, Duan Si. "Some things," she said, "you don't explain, you feel them." He looked at her and smiled. On the street, Brian ate some skewers. She had noodles. They didn't talk much. They didn't need to. They were already walking into the future, together, aware, and quietly optimistic. In one frame, Rob and Omni in Florida, trading metaphors. In the other, Brian and Mei Li, navigating ideas in Mandarin and English. Two worlds, two styles, same question. Rob and Brian didn't agree on everything, but both had chosen the same path. Engagement, curiosity, language that could evolve. A message for the incurious. Black, Hispanic, and young Americans. They're not experimenting with AI. They're using it to survive. To write the resume that gets seen. To decode the system that never included them. To learn faster than they're being left behind. In China, the shift is coordinated. In America, it's improvised. But in both, a loop is forming. Fast, quiet, unforgiving. Duan Si isn't brilliance, it's engagement. Make it or be left behind.